All right. So it took me almost 15 days to relish this entire experience because I can see so many interconnections in these, smaller events or festivities that it just still feels a very enriching, entire, holistic experience. But since Diwali, the previous new moon, to the full moon today, which was Kartik Pournima, uh, what are the highlights? The first thing was getting so many flowers. So I think it is almost three three cages of flowers, uh, roses, marigolds, and various flowers. Um, just put them, arrange them, and keep them in water actually for almost 4 5 days. To just look at them, the various patterns that they were forming. So I didn't really have any conscious pattern to place them in a certain way, but I ended up pulling some of the most ancient brass utensils that I had in my home, and I think some of them were even used by uh, my um father's, uh, actually grandfather's aunt or somebody. So it's quite like goes back to almost 3 4 generations. And of course I have a couple of utensils from my maternal grandfather's side, which he would use in a couple of rituals. So the energy of those flowers, of course, they were also slightly triggering. Uh, After having settled the kind of luxurious and abundant, mindset, but I was like, am I imitating something? Am I just going, with the trend, or am I betraying somebody who's like pro conservation and things like that previously? Uh, but I mean, these flowers were there in the market. Uh, Me not using them would not have restored them to the plants. But the energy exchange of whatever money that I paid for these cages of flowers uh, help somebody. The energy of those flowers, and of course, if I was to just use them for a day and throw them out, maybe that would have been very very mean of me. But I did not just keep them refreshed periodically by adding water for almost 5 days. But I also took some good flowers and I dried the petals, uh, typical of the hoarder in me, to make art later. So I think I did a bit justice to it. I could, but there are also new ways. The flowers. Uh, are beauty. They are the material Shakti, the manifestations of goddess in the material realm, because Devi loves the beauty, the internal feminine of everybody, irrespective of your gender, loves that luxury and loves that nourishing and loves that beauty to be around. So the second thing that I did was I stuck up the Shree Yantra that we had made as part of the retreat. Uh, so it was a good time because the Laxmi vibes are very very high. There's also this quality of lalit, the beauty, the relishing, taking it slow, which is why I think I'm talking about this after 15 days. But to allow it to settle, to allow it to be completely consumed, maybe for lack of a better word, or devoured or relished, uh, is the norm for the goddess. So roses and Shri, which is beauty, which is also wealth, all forms of wealth, whether it's health, food, um, uh, natural wealth, uh, wealth in terms of animals and people and relationships or whatever. So that was very very strong, strongly felt. Uh, Also, Rangoli, because I was doing through my movement practices and to my movement coach. Uh, Many times when we do rewiring or reprogramming, we go to certain cycles, and we did these 7 year cycles. And one of the 7 years cycles was, I think, from year 8 to year 14 or something. And that was when actually I started learning Rangoli. And there's this, you use all your five fingers in the Sanskar Bharti Rangoli, as it's called. So you have Bindu and you have all those. They're very holistic, sure, but I kind of fused various um, shapes that I wanted to, and I had this very beautiful uh, chakra kind of rangoli. So I had the inner uh, feminine and the inner masculine and the yantra connotations, triangles mostly that were coming to me, and the colors of heart, the colors of uh, the Agya chakra, the third eye chakra, the Muladhara chakra, the sacral chakra, all these beautiful red, orange, yellow, green, blue colors that were coming to me. So it was really wonderful to see that connect emerging, because that's also a sign how deeply that wisdom has penetrated you, how deeply you have been thinking, feeling, and tapping into it. So my mom did a very interesting thing. I didn't really tell her what the Rangoli was about, and she just came out and she said, "Is this like?" There was a resemblance of the trunk of Ganesh, and she was like, "Is this Ganesh?" And I said, "Yeah, if you want to believe in it, because the Shiv Shakti union is symbolized by, Ganesh, right? So." Uh, the beauty of it. And second thing was, when we went to the temple, uh, we found a house help who used to, now she's of course very old, but she used to help us, I think, during that same 8 to 14 year period. Uh, and we shared sweets and things like that with her, and she fondly remembered a lot of things. So it's almost like the Devi being just before you, right? Because every woman is a Devi. And uh, the wonderful ingredients, whether it's pure buffalo milk that we get because we live in a village, the ghee that we make with it, the besan and the rice flour, the abhyang that we do, the utna that we make with it. That is the ultimate ending. For past 2 years, Diwali has been the best time to relish uh, and worship the temple that's given to me, and that's my body. And I've been very, very, very acutely aware of this, because we cannot afford to just wait to fall sick and have issues and then pay attention to it. If you nurture and nourish it uh, right from the beginning, or you make an effort to, at least the moment, say a stressful period is over, you go back and you replenish yourself. I think for me it was my PhD, because it was all consuming. My mind was completely consumed by it, but once that stopped, or once it was over, or once there was waiting period, how strongly I went to my body will always be a turning point in my life. And uh, last Diwali also, I have an episode on nurturing and caring, which also involved Abhyang, which also involved these ghee diyas that I lit. And it's also on Spotify. You can always go and listen to that. But that feeling of Diwali. So flowers and Rangoli were new things this time, and also all the usual things of Abhyanga and of Shree Yantra was also new. The awareness, the receiving of Devi was new. Uh, some days before and some days after, because on 6th was my mother's birthday, and I'll be perhaps sharing this in another episode of how I made a personalized journal for her. But I feel that because I started my year with December, my birthday portal, November kind of feels like the last month of the year, but all the lessons are more uh, aggravated, more amplified. Then, of course, I'll be sharing what happened on the loose ends. How did I tie them? Because I had to go to my previous workplace as well for certain things, and things which were lying there just were mobilized and they happened. That's also because we were in the Saturn's retrograde, and now, like today, I think till 18th, the Saturn is going to be still, and then he's going to be moving forward. So the reviewing period, if you've done your reviewing really well, then when you move ahead as a new person. So I went and I did a lot of work on human design. I did that before Diwali also. There was this Jupiter energy that I wanted to work with, and I also plan on working with a little ahead. I've also enrolled for a couple of courses which are going to help me in deepening my knowledge about astrology. So with that heavy Mahakam and Jupiter and all that knowledge coming in, and the associated the Tattvapanthi things coming in for me, and then the the Diwali period. Also, I answered an exam on third during the Diwali season, and then of course my mom's birthday. Everything was very very. Lot of wisdom that landed basically, and I'll be using it in multiple ways. So I hope all of you also had a wonderful Diwali. If you have any personalized rituals that you've been doing, say you did them this year, or you've been doing them for 2-3 years, or you've been doing them since your childhood, do reach out and drop a comment or drop a message, and I would really love to listen to those stories as well. Thank you so much for joining me in the 60th episode of Activating Ambrosia.